Without further ado, I will flip the coin.
Tails.
It is heads. I'll take the first pick.
Ricky Flex, number one pick in the most anticipated movies of 2025. Lead us off. Dun, 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 dun.
So I have a really strong 5 that I want. And then the sixth one on my big board, it's very close to 5. So having the first pick, I can lock in 3 of the 5 that I want. That's kind of the strategy behind it. And also I kind of take this one from you a little bit, but I'm picking the Man of Steel himself, Superman, as the most anticipated movie of 2025. I am not making the same mistake with Mickey 17. I'm picking Superman, James Gunn's movie to kickstart the DCU with its iconic, most beloved character, as at least you would have said that 20 years ago. And then the previous 100 years, you would have said that. And hopefully James Gunn could reignite the Superman magic here and getting that character right. And if they do, watch out, because Batman, I think, has overtaken Superman as the most popular and historic, iconic superhero character. But if they can get Superman right, as well as getting Batman right for the past 25 years, my God, DC's back. So Superman is the most anticipated movie of the year, and that's why I'm taking it 1-1.
It's number one for me. The trailer I loved. I mean, a lot of people loved, and then the Snyder cultists hated. This is one that we talked about at the beginning, how it means so much to DC, kickstarting their universe in movie form, and James Gunn personally having a lot riding on this movie, him taking on the director chair for this film, right? Guy who's the head of DC Studios, and instead of handing it to someone else, he says, I'm going to take on the first movie and probably the central character of the DCU. And I'm pumped for it. I'm jacked for it. There's not much else I could say. If you want to see our trailer reactions, go see our trailer reactions. But what I will add, I'm taking Fantastic Four First Steps as my first round pick. And I think this is very apropos because I think this is the year that we start to rev up the Marvel versus DC rivalry on the big screen that really has not fermented, that really hasn't revealed itself over these last few years because of all the failures of the Snyderverse and the DCEU, the discombobulation and the confusion that it brings. I think now that they have their ducks in a row and they have a vision under James Gunn, and then Marvel bringing in the Fantastic Four in the electric cast that they've assembled there, potential appearance by Doctor Doom and Robert Downey Jr., you got Galactus, and then Superman with Lex Luthor and like bringing out all these other heroes and like the entrance to their world. I think this is perfect because this is where we're going to see the actual rivalry begin that we should have had for a decade.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I love that. For my take with Fantastic Four was similar to my comments about the comeback, return, redemption, is that I think this is going to be a great start for the true great start of the MCU. Not Captain America, Brave and the Bold, not Thunderbolts. No, it's with Marvel's first family coming to the big screen under the MCU, and the return of Marvel being a force again. And being like, not just that you're going to go see the movies, because that they're always going to drive the box office, right? These superhero movies are always going to drive the box office, particularly Marvel and the MCU in particular. But them saying, we own the box office. This is us. We own the discourse in movies, not just at the box office, but online. And we're not just a teaser studio. No, we come with the results too. And I think the Fantastic Four with this great cast, Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, Eben Moss-Backrack, and just the obviously Fantastic Four elements, and also heading into Doomsday in 2026, right? This is so important. And I think with a Galactus villain as well, a huge villain, it just has all the pieces to say, hey, you know what? Marvel's back. The MCU's back. And I didn't even mention the Silver Surfer being in this, Julia Gardner. But one final thing I'll say is we've gotten a trailer for Superman. And that comes out 2 weeks before July 11th. Then the Fantastic Four First Steps, which comes out July 26th. Is it Super Bowl where we'll get our first look into this, similar to Deadpool and Wolverine last year? Or do you think we'd get one earlier?
Super Bowl. I think it's a Super Bowl. And Fantastic Four shot well after Superman, which in terms of like superhero movies, making sure VFX is finalized and everything, like you always like I'm more like able to trust James Gunn's project a little like in how it's going to look afterwards, especially with the recent history of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think it's a better sign for Superman than Fantastic Four. But going back to the rivalry here, these come out both in July. This is the most excited I've been for a July since we had Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1, Oppenheimer, and Barbie within like a 3-week period. And I think now it's interesting. Superman July 11th, Fantastic Four July 25th. Initially, these had closer release dates. Is anyone going to budge? Is anyone going to move? Ricky Flex, who do you think is going to win the overall box office battle between Superman and the Fantastic Four?
Stars went out. Fantastic Four will win out. And also MCU, they have a good track record at the box office, even through this slump period the past 5 years. It's got even, and they've had their downs, quote unquote downs at the box office, but it's the Fantastic Four, it's the MCU, it's Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, and all these stars that we talked about, and the implications into Doomsday and RDJ. The studio, you're already bought into them, even through their lows. We haven't left them. We lost some hope. We've dimmered our expectations or lowered our expectations, but we're still there. Versus like Superman, DCU have not had a movie in a year. And the previous year, we had Shazam Fury of the Gods. We had Aquaman, the Lost Kingdom. We have lost a lot more hope with the DCU. And it's with Superman, where I think it looks great as well. And going back to your comments on the trailer, but it's not like there's a huge star playing Superman. It's not like there's huge stars left and right across the screen for Superman. They're up and comers or people that we don't know yet. So it's just a little different.
This is going to say a lot when July comes around. How much does Superman, the character, mean to people? You know, and you talked about Batman's overtaken Superman as like the flagship DC character or hero, I should say. The Fantastic Four, what kind of juice are they going to have for the MCU? And man, I really want to say Fantastic Four will make more money if Doctor Doom appears. That's my bet. I think Superman makes more money unless Robert Downey Jr. shows up as Doctor Doom at any point in the movie, including a post-credit. If he is in it, that means Fantastic Four makes more money.
I think he has to be in it, in my opinion, post-credit scene, because it's the Fantastic Four. You get through Galactus. And then if you look at the Marvel slate of movies, like what's next after this to kind of get you to Doomsday? You can't just introduce Doomsday and you have a Fantastic Four movie. You can't introduce Doctor Doom and Doomsday when you have a Fantastic Four movie right here, and you don't really have another movie that could really introduce him. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be kind of interesting.
Will Spider-Man come out in 2026? Before?
Yes, but you think they introduced Doctor Doom in a Spider-Man movie over the Fantastic Four movie?
Introduce, no. You know, I think it's going to be a post-credit stinger for this movie. Even though like it'll almost have like a Thanos vibe from Avengers 1, but like Thanos did technically make an appearance at the beginning of Avengers. You know, I don't think showed his face or anything, if I'm remembering correctly. But I think it's gonna be a post-credit stinger and teasing RDJ. You know, that's what it's got to be. Okay. And then Ricky, I did want to say I had more thoughts on. I keep having more thoughts on the Robert Downey Jr. aspect, and I'm reading this book, like The Reign of Marvel Studios, right now. I'm crushing it. I read the first like 250 pages since like Christmas. That's a lot for me. I usually don't even finish a book in a year, but I've been really like drawn by what I'm reading because it's going through like the birth and then like the rise and then eventually like the stagnation of Marvel Studios. And I'm at a point where it's at the birth. It's where Paramount is producing movies, and then like Disney buys like Marvel Studios. There was an idea at the beginning where Kevin Feige would say to any writer who came up with an idea, if they were competing to have the movie or to be the script, it would be the best idea wins, you know? And I kept thinking of that and knowing what the current MCU is. The best idea wins. Doctor Doom entering the MCU in this manner. Is that the mantra, best idea wins? To me, it's not. That's the most profitable idea. So like that's where I'm like I'm starting to know like the DNA and what makes Marvel Marvel. Best idea wins. And you said we're bringing back Robert Downey Jr. to play Doctor Doom. Is that really the best idea? So it's like you're putting a lot of faith in the people that are making these decisions and writing these scripts. I'm just a little, I'm second guessing that decision more and more as time goes on. But I just wanted to give you a little look ahead and also VFX and like how VFX Marvel only has so many resources. They freelance and they get other like companies to like do their VFX and how they're stretched thin. It makes me like kind of understand some of the struggles and like the important decisions that are being made, like as of recent at least.
Yeah, that just supports what I've been saying since the announcement of RDJ is Doctor coming back as Doctor Doom, right? And with the VFX point, it's also to your point where maybe it's not the best ideas, but also the for-profit ideas where they stopped shooting this movie in this fall, maybe even winter. It might have been like or November-ish, right? And you have to get your VFX done by July.
And Victoria Alonso left, and in the book, it's how she is a huge pillar to these movies in post production VFX. And she left, I want to say last year. I think she departed, and she was a part of this like big three of her, Feige, and Louis Desposito. Like those three were like the big three, and I think Desposito is also going to be on the way out. He was a huge part of like the Black Panther. No, that was Nate Moore. But I think he, whatever. She was just a huge part of VFX.
Yeah, but like if you look at like the DCU, it's like James Gunn. It's like it looks like that's best idea wins right now if you're using the same philosophy because you get Superman done early. It was done shooting in the spring, and it's over a year to get the VFX done. So, and that's one comment in the trailer. We're like, hopefully they get this right. They spent enough time and money on it. Like, hopefully they get it right. We haven't even talked enough about that with Fantastic Four and Marvel, who has proven not to get VFX right. And it feels like they're rushing this post-production process, which is all VFX for superhero movies. There is a little nerves with Fantastic Four, but I do think they will get it right. I do think they'll get it right.
They'll get it right. I trust that the VFX is going to look better than another movie that could be drafted here today, or we will mention it eventually. Second round, though, I'm moving away from superheroes. I'm going with a movie from a director that kind of had his breakout moment with Top Gun Maverick, Joseph Kosinski. My second round pick, third overall, I'm going F1, starring Brad Pitt and James and Idris and Javier Bardem. Apple TV Studios, whatever the frick it's called. This trailer was my favorite trailer of 2024. And it was only basically a minute 10 teaser, minimal dialogue, but that's exactly what you want in Joseph Kosinski's follow-up to Top Gun Maverick. A movie that on the technical side is going to be incredible. Brad Pitt, this seems like perfect as a casting for an aging F1 driver, like a flashy F1 driver. And it seems like it has a lot of fire to it, the relationship between James and Idris and Brad Pitt's character. I just think this is going to be unbelievable. And it was the visuals. I think I did a 1-to-1 edit with that trailer and the trailer for Top Gun Maverick. And I think it's going to be super influenced, obviously, by what works so well, the sound and everything that goes along with a Kosinski movie. So this one's number 3 for me.
Yeah, this was my borderline. This is my fifth one, borderline 4. And yeah, you mentioned it. This seems like a perfect slot for Brad Pitt and also Kosinski, the director here, as Brad Pitt as the former driver returned to Formula One, kind of a mentor figure, similar to Top Gun Maverick, which Joseph Kosinski just directed, and also the writer Ethan Kroger, I can't pronounce his last name, also wrote Top Gun Maverick, wrote this movie as well. So everything kind of like is fitting the bill here, right? And then you have a good supporting cast. You have a Carrie Condon, who we like from Banshees of Inisherin. You have a Javier Bardem, who is great in everything, it seems like. So yeah, and I dug the teaser, just like you. You have the "We Will Rock You" type of remix, even though it's real, but like it has a different tone within that. And you look at how they shot this film. They invested the money, over $300 million, one of the biggest non-IP budgets ever, if not the biggest ever. You have them filming during real F1 races,
Mm-hmm.
real F1 races, and you have a director who literally directed Top Gun Maverick, so you think he would have an idea of how to film these real F1 races, right? So I totally agree with you. This is a huge movie, a big deal. If you didn't have the superhero movies involved this year, like this would be like obviously a top 3 anticipated movie, maybe even top 2. So huge movie. Can't wait. June 27th. Apple, who had a tough 2024, maybe it's their comeback here. Maybe it's their return to form.
Yeah, I was going to say this is a big movie for Apple, one that it gained a strong reputation, I want to say, in 2023, and that kind of reputation took a hit in 2024. It seems like their movies, when it comes to like high-end talent that want to work with them, whether it be the Instigators or Wolves, both fell flat. Both fell flat. Not fell fat. Fell flat. June 27, 2025. This was under my category of non-franchise IP. Like people getting jacked up to see a movie that has no connection. It's a sports movie. Like I love having a sports movie on the board here. Ricky Flex, what do you have for your fourth overall pick in the second round?
Should you choose to accept this, Ethan Hunt's final movie. Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, May 23rd. Put it on my board. It's our guy, TC. It's his swan song, man, for his biggest role, final installment, in my opinion, the best spy franchise of all time. These just don't miss. These don't miss, which is why it's above others in my rankings here, my big board. I'll be shocked if I don't like it. Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt is one of my favorite roles of all time. And Mission Impossible, like I said, I think is the best spy franchise of all time. So consistent besides Mission Impossible 2. And Christopher McQuarrie taking the director's chair for one final time here. I cannot wait to see how they actually wrap this up, because I do believe this is the last time we see Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt. All the talk that will come afterwards of Glenn Powell and who's going to take the mantle next, because there's no way they're not going to continue to do Mission Impossibles. But I do believe this will be Tom Cruise's last installment. Will he die? Who will die from this crew? All the implications from this. I love this franchise. That's why I have to pick it next out of respect. Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, May 23rd.
I have this fifth on my board, and I'm glad you took it, because you deserve to take it if you have this much passion for like Tom Cruise and for Mission Impossible. You know how they should pass on the mantle if they do? I think it should be like the last scene of the movie. It should be a new recruit, Glenn Powell, who receives a message, and who is recording and who's talking. It's Tom Cruise, right? And if you wish to take this mission, whatever, have him be the voiceover, the narration, and then it goes on to Glenn Powell. God damn it, that would be magic.
There's no way he dies in this, right? Like they're gonna, I think they're not gonna have him die. They're gonna do exactly what you say. Like they're gonna do something as a mentorship type of role. But if you look at what Tom Cruise is doing, like right now, he has a couple other action movies in the works. He has a space movie, like we talked about, maybe Edge of Tomorrow too. But he's going to star in the Alejandro Inarritu movie. There's a reason why he was rumored in The Movie Critic with Tarantino. There's other rumors circulating about other non-action oriented roles. He's getting older. He still will do action movies, but just not as frequently. He's not going to go jumping off airplanes or hanging off of airplanes like he is in Mission Impossible. There's a reason why you're seeing him more in the news outlets or the tabloids of him with all these other dramatic auteurs, directors. So I do think this will be his final mission, pun intended, as Ethan Hunt. Do a couple other action movies, but then that will be it.
I think it's his final movie as Ethan Hunt. He doesn't die, though. Like I said before, and we talked about it on the podcast, if he didn't die in Top Gun Maverick at that time, he will never die in a movie at all. Unless
you know how The Rock and Vin Diesel, we talked about it in our podcast about their feud, or like The Rock or whatever, I forget, Fast and Furious maybe, how like they both said like they can't lose a fight in their contract. So like when they fought, there wasn't a clear winner. I feel like in Tom Cruise's contract, there has to be like, I can't die in a movie.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's probably really a thing. I think this is a big movie though for Tom Cruise, because his last performance in Last Reckoning Part 1, Dead Reckoning, whatever. Dead Reckoning. They switched the title. I can call it whatever I want. It's Dead Reckoning. When he almost treated that, when he was acting, it's like this is his last role as Ethan Hunt, his last time. It felt like that way. It felt like an aging star who understood his standing and the legendary-ness of like this character and who he is. Like, I wonder if that's just going to build upon this final movie, or is he just going to be going balls to the wall action? You know, it's going to have a couple of incredible stunts. You see him hanging off the plane and stuff, but I'm wondering if that role is going to like stay like the legacy, understand like who I am type of thing. We'll see. We'll see. There's something else I wanted to say about, this movie is also important because I think this, Dead Reckoning, it was, I think, in terms of audience reaction, not very well received compared to Fallout, Rogue Nation, Ghost Protocol. I think people weren't really warming up to the idea of the entity and the artificial intelligence. I don't think people really bought into that as much as like Rotten Tomatoes might tell you, you know? So I'm curious of like what direction they take with the AI, if people are more receptive of it in 2025 than they were back in 2023. I don't know, but I just think it has a job to do. I don't think it's a given. It's going to be like widely like accepted as like, oh yes, they've done it again. You know, I feel like there was like a niche of people who really didn't really dig Dead Reckoning.
Yeah, and that was the start. Like if you think about it, a couple years ago, like that was the start of like the AI boom, not only in the stock market but just in the discourse, right, with ChatGPT and whatnot. Now being accustomed to it, 2025 will be a little bit more numb to it. I think that will help. And also, you don't have a Barbenheimer event that's only a week or two after your movie gets released and
Yeah.
stunts your IMAX release, stunts your rewatchability, because that's how a lot of these movies, superhero, big IP, big stars movies, they make money, make not just a lot of money, but boatloads of money, is how people go to see it not just once, but twice and three times. And then this comes out May 23rd. You'll have, I can't think of the release schedule off the top of my head, but you don't have a superhero movie right after that. So that will help this movie have a longer runway. So I think this will be better, especially as the final reckoning, as long as they close it out right, where it's believable, where Tom Cruise doesn't die and it's believable. I think this will be fine.
Yeah, Thunderbolts isn't. It's May 2nd, so it's like not going to interfere at all. So, okay, your third round pick, fifth overall.
I'm picking a movie.
Good.
Where the lead in this movie doesn't make a movie every year. It's more like every other year if we're lucky. And I'm picking a director that's very selective. And this, we don't know exactly the background of this movie, a synopsis. There's some rumors, but this guy's an auteur, and it's the first time he's ever working with Leonardo DiCaprio. It's Paul Thomas Anderson's The Battle of Bacton Cross. Allegedly, that's the title, the rumored title, and the alleged date is August 8th. That's the alleged date.
August?
Yes.
Really? August?
Yes.
I have a hard time.
Already. It is in post-production, and it's also Paul Thomas Anderson's first ever movie in IMAX. First ever movie hitting triple digits, $100 million budget, and it's with Leo. So this is a guy who's worked with, Daniel Day-Lewis, Joaquin Phoenix, Philip Seymour Hoffman, some of the biggest, if not the best and biggest actors on the planet. Finally, he gets to work with Leo. Obviously, it's a huge cast as well. Like every PTA movie, Regina Hall's in this, Sean Penn, Alana Haim, back here after Licorice Pizza 2 years ago, or maybe 3 years ago. I can't remember. But overall, like, it's a PTA movie. You know I'm a PTA guy. You got me a PTA book, for God's sakes. There's no way I'm letting this get back to you if you were even going to pick it. But I have to, again, out of respect, Tom Cruise, Paul Thomas Anderson, and Leo. Allegedly, it's an untitled. It's not an official title, but apparently it's The Battle of Bacton Cross. That is the title. That's my third pick.
Okay, so I don't blame you for taking it because I know you love PTA and Leo. I will say I want to avoid movies that may not come out this year. That like we read at the beginning of this podcast the list of both of our movies, and what I don't want is a movie that doesn't come out and I can't be like whether it lived up to the hype or whether it was disappointing or whatever our reactions are going to be. Because if we go through this has got to be your own. This is your one. This is your one. This is like I'm letting you do that. Yes, and that was first overall, which is crazy. You know, so
that
it's like
crazy though. Like that release date was March.
This is like the third year we could pick Mickey 17 or whatever. But I'll let you do it because like you're passionate about it, and if it does come out this year, you're right and you get it. You know, I wasn't willing to go there.
I'm I can't say I'm more confident in this getting released than Mickey 17 because Mickey 17, we drafted last January. That movie was scheduled for 2 months later in March, and it got pushed to a year. Like that was shocking. So I won't say this would be as shocking, but I would be so shocked if this does not come out this year. Like so shocked.
Yeah, but in this dude highest budget PTA movie, and I look at the shots like that I see surface on the internet of Leo and like a beanie and like scraggled facial hair. Like, what is making this budget so high? Like, I don't get it. Like it's like $100 million for a PTA movie. I'm sure he's going to use every ounce of money, right? Every cent that he's been given. But I'm just having a hard time believing that this isn't, I don't know, a guy who's like getting a contract based on what he's done rather than like what the movie's going to earn. You know, just like, why is this guy getting this much money? Is Leo in a PTA movie going to make $150 million? Maybe in this day and age, in this economy.
Let me just take a look here. So Licorice Pizza, we can't use that. That was 2021 COVID. Weird. Let's look at so Leo.
How about There Will Be Blood? Why don't
All
we
right,
look at
There Will
that?
Be Blood. What was the box office of There Will Be Blood? Again, not IMAX. Okay, worldwide did 76 million.
Non-IMAX.
2007 though.
Dude, it's a freaking Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
But your ticket prices changed. That's how Oppenheimer made so much money. It was IMAX. You had to see it in the IMAX, the 70 millimeter.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch Phantom Thread 3 times in IMAX. I only watched it in Dolby.
I don't know. I think this is different. Like this movie won't be commercial, but like it will be like think about like last year 2023. I have to say now, Killers of the Flower Moon, unbelievable in IMAX, but that didn't make a lot of money. I bet this makes more than Killers of the Flower Moon does.
I feel like this movie, if you really cared about, if this was coming out in 2026, you would know a release date. You would see marketing because they know how freaking impossible it is for this movie to make money. Right?
2025. Yeah, that's a good point. But again, like there's other movies that are on the list here that I think, as in like, this is a Warner Bros. Movie, right? So I think they're kind of allocating other resources to that. I think this is early. It's early. Like, who knows? It's a PTA movie. This could come out Christmas.
Yeah, it could. Yes, I would.
And then we'll be saying, wow, 12 months in advance. No, obviously there's not going to be shit on this.
August, I think, is lofty. I would say Christmas. I would not be shocked if this came out like Christmas, end of 2025, because it's on that border of 2026, whatever. It's Leo, like people want Leo, and people want Leo at the Oscars. Like PTA Leo equals Oscars, probably.
If it doesn't come out this year, I apologize. And then next year, I can't take a flimsy film again.
I am going to take a movie with my third round pick that doesn't have an official release date, but we have seen a trailer, and I know it's coming out this year. I don't know why it doesn't have a release date, but behind F1, this was it's pretty much 28 days later, and this movie, Warfare, A24, Iraq War, Ray Mendoza, ex-Navy SEAL, as the director here, written by Alex Garland, who just did Civil War for A24. A24 going full-on war movie, not for 25 minutes, full-on war movie from a ex-Navy SEAL that served in Iraq. Great cast, talked about it. Will Poulter, Joseph Quinn,
Charles Melton.
What is that?
Charles Melton's in this.
Charles Melton's in this. I think Centineo. I'm not a fan of him, but like Centineo's in this movie. But this has so many cool pieces, and the action looked intense. It looked like I'm going to be absolutely crapping my pants while I'm watching this. And I think it's going to be one of the most realistic war, like, I guess, war on terror depictions we've ever seen. And it's A24 going full action, full war. I'm in on this. I think it's going to be a massive year again for A24, but I think it's going to be massive for them commercially more so than maybe critically, which I think you look out for. So, Warfare.
Yeah, this is a great one. Great pick. I got to say, 2024 was the year of Joseph Quinn proving it to us. 2025 could be the year of Joseph Quinn, like just absolute skyrocket. Like, you know what I mean? Like this year he had, or 2024, A Quiet Place Day One. He had Gladiator 2, kind of showing like, hey, I'm more than just Eddie Munson from Stranger Things, the weird guy that should have graduated high school 7 years ago. Now it's like he's a full blown movie star. Now it's like with Warfare and then taking on the Human Torch, it's like, wow, this guy, is he legit? Like, can we like start casting him in any, like basically anything, right? Right. So I'm all in on this as well. I think the trailer was phenomenal. That was like a head scratcher where like it was like I had no idea this was even being made, and then you just throw this at us, and then especially seeing this on the big screen as a trailer before Nosferatu, I was like, whoa, like this movie's gonna rip in theaters. So yeah, Warfare is a good pick.
Joseph Quinn is like the startup, like he's like a stock that's too expensive now. Like that's what he has a chance to do. Like he could join like a Fortune 500 if he nails Warfare and is like the Human Torch and it's like a huge piece of the MCU going forward, right? Like this was like Stranger Things was like him. He's like Steve Jobs barefoot on the college campus. You know, that's him. And then like he makes like the first edition of Apple. And everybody's like, holy shit, what am I looking at here? We might have something. And then all of a sudden, this could be the year where he introduces the iPod. You know, that's what we're looking at with Joseph Quinn. This is where he like cements himself. I am like who you think I could be, you know?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. I don't know about the Steve Jobs thing.
Steve Jobs is lofty. Yeah, that's like saying like Steve Jobs is like our Leo.
It doesn't have to be like Steve Jobs. I'm just saying like he is like a guy that we can lean on, count on, right? It's like someone that you can't afford a stock. Like you should have bought it back when he was barefoot in Stranger Things.
Like last year, he proved that, yes, you should be casting me in this stuff. And then now this year, it's like, all right, are you going to be a guy? Like, are you going to be like, whoa, like we should be talking with you with the Austin Butlers. We should be talking with you with the Glenn Powells. Like, is he going to be that? Like, that is what I'm really interested to see.
That's where this is the year where it's like, okay, like now you can't afford him. Now you can't afford him. That's what he's a chance to do. So Warfare, my next pick. Oh man.
Oh man. Oh man.
Warfare. I think, you know what? Sinners. I got to go Ryan Coogler. April 18th, 2025. It's hard to go against Ryan Coogler, even if like he hasn't done anything aside from Wakanda, whether it be Black Panther or Wakanda Forever or developing some animated series for Marvel. He's back, you know? And I think he is a director that he's done real life drama with Fruitvale Station. He's made one of the best sports movie of the 21st century in Creed. He's made one of the best superhero movies and has created his own sector of Marvel, right? The biggest franchise in the world. And now he gets to make a horror movie, right? It looks like an action horror movie. So it seems like it's him once again flexing, like I can still make any type of genre movie, right? You could trust me. I'm going to be with my frequent collaborator, Michael B. Jordan, if you don't trust me all the way. And I think Michael B. Jordan comes at a time where, hey, we're looking for him to get back to like the days of Creed, you know? And even like 2015, 2018, Killmonger, those type of days. These past couple of years maybe slipped a little bit, right? Not in the forefront of audiences' consciousness. And he did go into the director's chair. He did direct Creed 3. So I don't know. Maybe that's a sign of maybe he's not good. He wasn't going to be the A-lister we thought he was, and this, that. He's a chance to reclaim it here. Okay. He is who we thought he was type of moment. So I'm in on it. And I love having, what's that guy's name? Ricky.
Delroy Lindo.
I got it. That's what I mean. I forgot his name because I haven't seen anything worthwhile that he's been in since the Five Bloods, you know?
Yeah, he's
so
kind
I'm
of
like,
been.
I thought he was gonna have a late career resurgence that was reminiscent of like a J.K. Simmons. You know, I thought we were gonna get that. Maybe that's still on the table. He's always been notable, just like J.K. Simmons was, but I'm looking for him to like launch it. He seems like he's got something to sink his teeth into, judging by how crazy he seems in this trailer. And Haley Steinfeld, congrats to Josh Allen because she looks like an absolute smoke show in this. But potential vampire story was hot in the streets. Nosferatu, vampires. Give me Sinners, fourth rounder.
Wow, guess how old Delroy Lindo is?
68.
72. 72.
Damn.
Yeah, but I still have stock in him to win an Oscar.
Well, that's crazy.
I still do. I didn't sell. I might have sold a little bit after the Five Bloods, but I think that just shows you that was only 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. It's still there. I still like him a lot. Sinners, this is also under the auteurs, and auteurs like doing weirder stuff than normal, like non-normal stuff, like vampire movie for Ryan Coogler, not Fruitvale Station. This is not that, right? This is not your sports story IP with Rocky with Creed. This is so different, and I love it. I love Ryan Coogler. I put him in that same like young director that we put like Greta Gerwig in, Jordan Peele, and that whole class. He's a part of that. That's just a lot of expectations and anticipation levels for that. That's why this is worthy to be picked.
And he's like more versatile than those guys. Like I don't put him with for like Eggers, Ari Aster, Peele. They're strictly like they're horror thriller guys through and through. Elevated horror. They dominate that sphere. Like we'll see what Eddington does, and that might get picked later on. But like I don't know if that's going to be a thriller like we've seen from Ari Aster previously. Sinners, this is like you had it in auteur, but I also said this is like non IP blockbuster to me. Like this is a story that has a great director, a great star, and it's something about like vampires. It's about it's a juicy story for probably vampires, monster type story potentially. I think this is going to do well at the box office, even though like yes, he is an auteur. We just haven't seen him do it in a while, but I kind of had it under that category.
Yeah, like it's auteur because like for
him.
me, yeah, because of he's doing the writing and directing, but it is the good. I agree with you though. This is a blockbuster, and that's why they're promoting this so hard, Warner Brothers, and that's why they switched the release dates with Mickey 17 to March. It will be interesting to see if because this will be a good sign for 2025 return of, again, going back with my theme with return or comeback or redemption. Also for the box office, because if you look at the box office for 2024, 9 of the 10 movies were IP sequels.
Yeah, this is gonna be different this year. It's gonna be different.
And the other only one that's not considered is Wicked, which is a prequel and IP, obviously. So it's like it's 10 out of 10. If Sinners does well at the box office, that'll be a huge sign in March, a huge sign for the return of the box office.
It's crazy because we're gonna have a couple that don't make the list, obviously. But like IP stuff's gonna make a crap ton of money this year. We already have Superman and Fantastic Four, like Wicked. We just talked about like that's going to be an absolute smash again at the box office. Probably make even more money than the first movie did, right? Mission Impossible probably gets back on track with it maybe being Ethan Hunt's last movie, but like all these other like non-IP blockbusters, I think are going to do well. I think and these movies are so important because they are the true gauge on how the box office is doing. It's those type of movies that don't have a leniency on like nerd fandom, It's not franchise. It's literally you want to go see a new original concept, and I'm going out to the theater to do it. Those movies like Sinners, like Warfare, right? It's like this is a premise. This is something maybe you haven't seen. More of Sinners I'm talking about, but I'm going to have an experience that isn't connected to anything that I have seen previously. I feel like those are the true gauge.
Yeah, and that kind of leads into my next pick where I'm not picking one of those movies, where I'm picking a movie where this on paper should be $1 billion. Jurassic World Rebirth.
You did take it. Okay.
July 2nd. If you're a longtime listener of TDI, ever since the news of this movie, you know that I am so high on this reboot. I am very bullish on this rebirth of the Jurassic Park franchise. And you have Mahershala Ali, who I think is one of the best working actors today. You have a Scarlett Johansson, who has proven how she's one of the best actresses working today. Going in tandem in this movie, that's automatic awesome. You have a Gareth Edwards directing this, who a great visual director, the creator, Rogue One, Godzilla 2014. And that will be important for this Jurassic Park world, which needs a fresh start. It needs something fresh, creative. I think for something that's important as the visuals and the dinosaur characters in Jurassic World or Jurassic Park, whatever, I think Gareth Edwards is the perfect director for this. and you have a great cast, like I mentioned. I think where you have something that's going to be great visually for this blockbuster that is supported by a great human cast, right? Which I think was severely lacking in the Jurassic World trilogy. You have something, you have a human element to support the dinosaurs and the great visuals with a much better visual director. I am very high on this reboot. That's why I'm picking Jurassic World Rebirth, July 2nd. 4th of July weekend too. This is like on paper, this should be $1 billion movie, like Jurassic World Dominion was. The final film of Jurassic, or the final film in the Jurassic World trilogy, which was dog crap, and still made $1 billion. This should be making $1 billion.
If anything has the word Jurassic in it, you can assume it's going to make $1 billion. For Jurassic World 2 and 3, especially 2, for that one to hit a bill is insane. The third one, you have like the legacy aspect of it all, the characters returning. This one's going to make $1 billion. Am I convinced it's going to be good? Am I really anticipating it? I was on paper. And then when I saw those first images, it did not do it for me at all. It turned me off so hard. And I wanted to be like, I cannot wait for it. But the look of the movie, I don't know. They're just pictures and they're just photos, I should say, but I'm not digging it. I did see what looked like a leaked trailer for this new Jurassic World movie. Something interesting, because you're wondering how they're going to spice it up. This leaked trailer, I'm pretty sure Scarlett Johansson is like a hybrid. She is like a human / dinosaur.
Whoa.
I might be going out on a limb right now, but I swear to God, I saw like a leaked trailer, and she had like flashing yellow eyes like a freaking velociraptor. I swear to God, dude. And
I don't
that's
like what
me.
you're saying.
Like, I swear to
good for a
God.
pick here.
But like that's like kind of what I saw. I could be wrong. I could have been like half asleep. I swear to God.
I hate what you just said in its entirety. But let me just say something
It's a
else.
spin on it.
But let me say something else maybe here. So a movie that you were much higher on going into than me was The Creator. What you
Yeah.
said was a dark horse to be a Best Picture nomination. Never forget.
Dude, why do you have to say that?
Hey, it's a pretty good movie. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. I liked it. I just didn't like the end.
I think the floor for this movie is The Creator.
It's Jurassic World, dude. It's
I
like,
know, but I think The Creator's that level of movie, I think, is the floor for this movie.
I think this Jurassic World will be better than any of the three with Chris Pratt. I think that.
Yeah, I think most people are expecting that, but I think it'll be better than those expectations. But yeah, I guess that's why I'm picking and you're not. Yeah. Okay, my final pick. Okay, this is where it gets hard for me. I could pick anything. I have a lot of IP here. I could just lean into it and do one more IP. Or I could do something weird. Whew. Man. You know what? We just saw Nosferatu. Oh, wait. No, I don't want to do a TBD. I don't want to do a TBD one. I already have one.
Well, I think I know what you're doing. I think I would assume both those are coming out in 2025.
I'm assuming this movie's coming out in 2025, but now after a conversation after the PTA movie, I'm nervous this might not come out in 2025.
Are you thinking about something that's obviously connected monster wise? Is that what you're thinking?
I'll say
about?
Frankenstein. I want to pick Frankenstein.
So there's two. You're taking.
I'm taking Frank. I would take Frankenstein, not the Bride of Frankenstein. I would take Frankenstein.
Directed by Guillermo del Toro, starring Jacob Elordi, and who else?
Oscar Isaac's playing Dr. Victor Frankenstein. Mia Goth's in this. Christoph Waltz is in this.
Yeah, this is what I was going to pick unless you did. So this is the right pick in my opinion, as opposed to the Maggie Gyllenhaal, The Bride, which is starring Jesse Buckley and Christian Bale.
Still can be good.
That speaking of stills, that did not really do it for me. Christian Bale as like Jared Leto Joker Frankenstein. Out.
I'm also iffy on that one, even though I think it still could be good. I think Maggie Gyllenhaal, she's getting anointed as like in this. I won't say Gerwig, what would you say, Coogler class, but she's nowhere near that yet. But I still have faith in that. But Frankenstein with Guillermo del Toro, a filmmaker who was basically designed to do a monster movie like this with legendary IP like Frankenstein, and someone that just proved to us a couple years ago that he could do a great remake with and put his own spin on it, as he did with Pinocchio, which won Best Animated Feature at the Oscars. So I think it's a great cast, and it matches the tone of this Frankenstein, these characters that are dark, gothic, horror. Me a goth, I'm thinking about. I think Jacob Elordi could channel that as well. Christoph Waltz, and I think Oscar Isaac playing Victor Frankenstein. I'm thinking of the HBO show he did with Jessica Chastain with the glasses and a couple other of his works. I think he'd
Scenes
be a
from a
great,
Marriage.
yeah, I think he could be a great like Dr. Frankenstein. And again, just seeing what Eggers did with Nosferatu, I think Guillermo del Toro could do something really similar with the world of Frankenstein. That's why I think it deserves to be picked, and that'd be my final pick. I just hope it comes out. There's a TBD date, and I haven't really seen much on this movie, but it's supposed to come out in 2025.
I think it will come out in 2025. And I think this is perfect for Guillermo del Toro because he loves like legacy monsters and like making his own spin on it. Like he's just the master of horror. You know, like he's the master of like I don't even know how to describe it. He is great at creating monsters, making you feel something for the monster. Frankenstein is perfect for that type of story. Elordi has been hot in the streets for a while now. And who was initially going to be Frankenstein before Elordi?
Garfield.
Garfield's. I think Elordi's even better casting for Frankenstein, unless you're going for a big softie, you know, like that Garfield would bring to the table. Both slender forms of Frankenstein. We could be seeing a seductive Frankenstein, similar to what we just got with Count Orlok in Nosferatu. But I trust the Guillermo del Toro take. I think it's going to honor the legacy and have a nice spin to it. The Bride, Maggie Gyllenhaal, about the bride, freaky like look of Christian Bale. I'm afraid there's going to be some stuff at play there where I'm just going to be rolling my eyes about like the themes and stuff like that. I just think you're going to get a classic monster movie with Del Toro.
Yeah, like this is the guy that did Pan's Labyrinth. This is the guy that did The Shape of Water. Like this guy just knows monsters and how to connect them to us. You know, he was like meant to do this. Like he was.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. All right. Last but not least, 5th round pick, Mr. Irrelevant. I'm going to go with a Christmas release, and I'm going to go back to an A24 movie, and I'm going back to the king of Christmas. I'm talking about Shalamis. I'm going Marty Supreme. Benny Safdie directed movie starring Chalamet himself, potentially coming off an Oscar win, maybe in 2025. He has been doing all the press for a complete unknown in the Marty Reisman ping pong player mustache and hair. Tyler Creator, Gwyneth Paltrow in a first significant role, and I don't know how goddamn long since Pepper Potts. She's in this movie. I'm missing somebody else that I know is going to be good casting here. Who is it?
You said Tyler Creator.
Paltrow, Tyler the Creator, someone else I'm missing.
Fran Drescher's in this. Is that who you're thinking of?
I don't think so. But I think Chalamet, he owns that part of the year. It is every year he has a Christmas release. This is going to be like Safdie Brothers sport movie, but also like I don't know how it's going to take on that energy. Is it going to have that good time energy? Is it going to have that uncut gems, like anxiety inducing type of experience for the audience? Or is it going to be something different? It's obviously it's a ping pong player, but it's been fictionalized to a point. I think it could be, I don't know, for some reason when I see Chalamet with that mustache, with that hair, I think Wes Anderson, and I'm just curious what that looking character will be in a Benny Safdie movie who is doing his first directorial feature, major feature without Benny, and this for A24 still, you know? So I think this is a Mr. Irrelevant. It's freaky, it's weird, and it's got potentially a Best Actor winner. Who knows?
So this is one of the 3 that I was deciding upon for my last pick, because I think Timothée Chalamet after 2024, it was his prove it. Like I am an A-lister and I am the guy in my age bracket. So I think that warrants him getting drafted in the top 10 because he demands not only the best people working with him, director or ensemble, but also the box office. And he's proven that time and time again for the past 2 years. So he's Timothy right now. He deserves our respect. He's going all out for this. You talked about it with the stash and whatnot. And I will say that to switch it off of Timothy for a second, this is a big year for the Safdies. And it's not just because they're separating. It's because they are going to have two movies going toe to toe at the box office. Both Christmas releases, The Smashing Machine, Benny Safdie's movie, versus Marty Supreme, Josh's movie.
Damn.
And they're both sports movies with huge stars. The Rock. This is a huge, this is massive for the two of them. Massive. And I think it's something that we're not talking about because of the stars that are doing this. The Rock is going serious, A24. Timothy got the weird 1950s ping pong period piece, mustache, movie going on. No. This is like a huge behind the scenes rivalry that might be brewing after this year if they decide to not reunite after this. If they continue to go on their separate ways, with Benny kind of doing the actor directing bit and Josh doing the full writing, directing, and he's doing the movie with Adam Sandler that they were both supposed to be doing. So I don't know. I think the behind the scene rivalry is also could be brewing here.
You kind of want to see who wins the breakup. That's what you're watching. And the person I was missing in the Marty Supreme cast that I wanted to bring up was Mr. Wonderful. I forgot was in this movie.
Kevin O'Leary. Holy crap.
Yeah, he's in it. I saw Penn Jillette is in the cast here too.
Weird.
Yeah. So written and directed by Josh Safdie. And The Smashing Machine. I can't. That was one I was tempted to pick, but the A24 had a couple that I was targeting. Marty Supreme, and trusted star. The guy let's see who I trust more behind the camera. I think that's what we're going to see at this point. We kind of almost assume it's going to be Josh. That's because Benny is busy doing other acting. He's in Oppenheimer, he's in Licorice Pizza. He's in whatever, The Rehearsal. He's in everything. He's still doing stuff and still trying to be behind the camera. That's fascinating to me. Okay. So let's go through the list and let's go through our most anticipated draft. Ricky Flex, for most anticipated movies of 2025, he has Superman, releasing July 11th, 2025. He has Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, releasing May 23rd, 2025. The Untitled PTA and Leo movie, with no release date. Jurassic World Rebirth, July 2nd, 2025. And then Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, with no release date. We assume 2025. Dr. O has The Fantastic Four, First Steps, July 25th, 2025. F1, coming out June 27th, 2025. Warfare from May 24. No release date, 2025. Sinners from Ryan Coogler, April 18th, 2025. And Marty Supreme, that will be Christmas 2025. All right, Ricky Flex,